Everybody, happy Monday. On our way actually out to uniquely doing this video, a lot of listing appointments today. So I got a little windshield time. In this video, there's actually kind of like a little subcategory of this video that I'm going to be doing hopefully this week. I just got to get a bunch of notes. It's a lot of rabbit holes I can go down during the video when I'm driving, so I got to make sure I write down some notes, which I did for this video. But one thing in this industry is you got a lot of people, a lot of agents. Well, that's why I say this. All agents, pretty much, right? We don't eat. We don't put food on the table. We don't make money unless real estate transactions close, for the most part. Now, there's definitely some people that'll put you on retainers and charge you fees for showings and all that. We don't do any of that. So, the way that we make money on, meaning myself and my team, if we don't close, we don't get anything. And if anything, all that time, energy, and effort that we have spent, before a contract and during a contract and everything was basically for nothing. But that's, the business is what we know. And the subcategory that I was talking about and why I'm doing this video is in real estate, there's something that I really, I don't want to say I have a hard time with. It's a very difficult thing in real estate, and it's being too honest. And so immediately you think, well, what do you mean be too honest? Just, I want everybody to be honest with me. Yes, and we are completely honest. But there's just times in real estate, and it's not so much like working with a friend or referral, somebody has full trust in me, right? Those are usually easy because they know I'm not lying to them whenever I tell them something that's just like, oh my gosh, it doesn't seem like that's correct. But when we go out, we meet strangers, right? So we're a referral partner with Zillow. We're a referral partner with Realtor.com. We're a referral partner with Redfin. We're a referral partner with Dave Ramsey, right? I mean, we have the biggest referral partners because of the size of our team, the volume we do, how we do real estate, how we treat the clients, the reviews, all that. Like all the biggest players in real estate partner with our team here in Knoxville. And strangers, being too honest, such as, I'm automatically going to go back to like 2021 when everything was multiple offers. I would go out, get a phone call off Zillow, go out and meet a complete stranger and be like, hey guys, I hate to say this. They're like, we like the house, we'll put an offer in. I'm like, well, I just talked to the agent. Looks like they're at 10 offers already. 2 of them are cash. Looks like all of them are several, thousands and tens of thousands over asking price. So we're going to probably need to waive the inspection, all that, right? And it's like, they don't know me. And they think I'm lying to them. And so there's no trust. And so the being too honest part is a very difficult thing for agents that are honest to navigate. And it just, real estate is one of those things. There's so many people involved. And if you don't get an agent that actually is honest, they can lie to you and you'll never know it. So I always want to do videos up and share the negative side of real estate, which is kind of what this video is doing. This is not a good look for me to say, to give people these stats, while other people are out here like, oh, let me list your home. I have 10,000 buyers and I'll get you all these views and blah, 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 blah. That's all crap. It's all a lie. I can prove that it's a lie. It's fake. There is no listing agent that can do something another listing agent can't. No one's ever bought a home off of social media. No one's ever been sitting there scrolling on Facebook and seen somebody's like, oh, hey, welcome to 123 Smith Street. I'm Stephen Hensley. Come on, let's do a tour. And but you know what? I didn't think about buying a house, but let me go buy that house. Doesn't exist, right? It's crap. You're literally paying and they're upselling you on commissions to pay for their branding. Right? They're growing their brand as an agent doing that. They don't give a shit about your home at the end of the day. I'm just going to be honest. But, so let's get into these stats. So for our team, right? So between me and all my agents, we have 35 active listings. 35 total listings. 7 of them are under contract. So that means we have 27 that are active. This is a stat that I was actually, I was crazy enough, I was sharing this with one of my sellers over the weekend that I didn't even realize because I was, wanting to share activity and stuff like that. We have not one, as of today and moving forward, there's not one active showing on any of those 27 coming up. That's crazy. 27 total listings, right? I can tell you all the stats, if you pay attention to the real estate market nationally and even locally, our market is drying up quick. The pool of buyers, that water pool is getting smaller and smaller every single day. And for sellers, I don't want to say it's a race to the bottom, because that's not it. But it is a race to get below your neighbors and to get below the competition, because buyers are picky. They want everything. And if you don't give it to them, they're going to go find a seller that will. And kind of one things I've been thinking about, and I don't know the answer to this, right? Is a seller today going to be happy they took less money if they did it today versus in 1 year? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what it looks like in a year, right? The Fed does meet this week. There is a decent chance there's a lot of pressure on them to lower rates. And as we know, if you pay attention to my videos, the Fed lowered rates doesn't necessarily impact mortgage rates. But at this point, like, there's so much built in, it should, right? It should bring it down a little bit. If not, prevent it from going up even higher. I'll say it like that. But another thing that I want to kind of share with you, right, is, not only the activity, is pretty much the lead sources we work with is probably 85% buyers. So about 85% of the people that contact us are buyers. There is a lot of people with the contingent home to sell right now. Pretty much, a big chunk of the people buying have a home to sell, and a lot of times that gives them all that money, so that way the payment's not bad, or their cash. We were looking at some stats from the last couple months. It was pretty wild to us how many cash buyers we've actually worked with. And it's, again, it's not that we're all of a sudden have this, this fake marketing thing that we're like, oh yeah, we have all these cash buyers. No, there's just cash buyers out there. And for them, the interest rate don't matter. And they know, as a cash buyer, in a slow market, you definitely have a little more wiggle room, because there's definitely sellers out there, weird situations, desperate situations, motivated situations that will sell and sell for way less. So I'm going to give you some examples of some offers, because these are realistic offers. I had 3 offers on 3 different listings, and none of them got accepted. Now, I do think there's a decent chance we get 1, maybe even 2 of these accepted, but I'm going to kind of go into circumstances and why they didn't get accepted for my sellers. So offer 1, a good home. We've had it listed now for, probably going on like 45 days, maybe 2 months. I'd have to look. I mean, a really, really nice newer construction. I think the home's only less than like 4 or 5 years old. It's priced around like $470,000, and we got an offer for the net, the seller's walk away, to be about $50,000 less than what we had it listed. Now we know the situation. We know we weren't going to get a full price offer, but it's just, your home don't sell in a couple days, you ain't getting a full price offer. I can go ahead and tell you that. So if you're a seller, that's your realistic terms. If you aren't happy with that, don't sell. But about 50,000 less. So we ran some numbers, right? My people are pretty motivated. They're already moved out. And so we actually countered back, really basically bumping it up about 20 grand. So taking about $30,000 less, which is still a lot of money. And it seemed like verbally, we got to an agreement, with the agent as of Friday. They said they were going to resubmit. Well, we never did hear back from them. Saturday, crickets. Sunday, no response. This morning, reached out, really early, no response. And again, on the phone, so like it was good, even through text messages. They even said they were going to resubmit, but they have not done it with those numbers. So, it's pretty disappointing, for me, pretty disappointing, most importantly for the sellers, because it seemed like, we had a really high hopes of getting that thing under contract and getting them numbers that were still work for them. But now we're kind of back to the drawing board with no activity. So that kind of sucks. But again, we don't know if this buyers is going out here, and because there's competition around there, and just going out to all these homes that's around the same area and price point and all that, and just throwing stuff against the wall and see who's going to be desperate enough to take these lowball offers. And you know what? There's probably a pretty good chance they find someone. $30,000. That's nothing to blink at. That's a lot of money. The next one, right? So it's a condo. And in this condo complex, it's called a non-warrantable condo. And what this means is you can't get just your regular traditional financing, especially from mortgage brokers, on it. You have to basically get really what's called a portfolio loan, which is small banks, credit unions, those sort of things. Now, the terms and stuff like that of a loan is still going to be like that of traditional financing. It isn't worse terms. But basically, the reason why this happens is because the HOA is usually considered investor controlled. So it's a stat that's kept on the back end that most people don't even understand or know about or pay attention to, because it's, even if you close and buy one, but it's all happening in the background between me, the title company, and the lender. All this stuff that you don't see on social media of what goes into the job. And so this complex is basically majority investors owned, so it's not primary residence, which then prevents it from going, and the loan basically getting resold on the secondary market, which is what mortgage brokers do for non-warrantable condos. So they put the offer in, and the terms, everything of the offer was acceptable. My seller even verbally said, hey, yeah, I'll take it, but it didn't get the pre-approval with it. And so we also note this on the back end, but I know how agents are, and half of them don't pay attention to anything. Half of them don't know what they're doing with this stuff. So I just I messaged her and I said, hey, obviously need the pre-approval, and this is a non-warrantable condo. Just want to make sure the lender's okay with that. So they did some due diligence. They did some looking over the weekend. Apparently the lender is okay with it verbally. And as of yesterday, they said they were going to resubmit today. So they should have me something in writing, around lunch today, which is great. So might be able to get that. But again, once I get that pre-approval for my sellers, is something that separates really what I would say is listing agents from other listing agents when you know this. And it's something you get ahead of versus, anybody could accept a contract. You could have wasted 3 weeks and the lender's like, oh no, we can't loan on it, right? So I'm preventing that from happening to my sellers because I'm educated in this and know how this stuff works. So I'm still going to, when I get that pre-approval, call that lender and just verify myself, just for peace of mind. Not to say that I don't trust the other agent, but it's just due diligence that I want to do. So maybe a chance that one does come back to the table and get accepted. Another one, and this is a situation I think that we're going to see more and more and more. As I mentioned there early in the video, a lot of buyers right now have a home to sell. The people that are buying, and putting big money down or cash have a contingent home to sell. Now, in 2021, having a contingent home to sell was pretty easy. How I would do it then was we would list it, we'd get under contract probably with a lease back, we'd be able to close, or the buyer would agree to extend closing, allow us to find something, no big deal, because everybody wanted a home, there's no inventory. Well, now the roles is flipped. So what you really got to do now is, what I would encourage people to do is we start looking for a home contingent on selling this home before we ever list it on the market. And the reason we do that is because so you don't kind of waste time on the market and like the person that came to us. So this home went active on Friday. We had 2 showings, 2 really good feedbacks. It even seemed like the second showing, but also had a contingent home to sell, was very interested in the home. But they also, again, have that contingent home to sell. So the first one, we did get an offer, actually above asking price. Shocking. Above asking price, right? Haven't said that in a long time. But they had a home to sell. Now that home to sell is in Florida. I nerd out on the real estate market and keeping up with data. Florida right now is getting absolutely obliterated in their market. It's pretty much the #1 market that's prices are dropping due to things like insurance and just the craziness and people just wanting to get out of Florida, too hot. They obviously see the market's dropping and they want nothing to do with it. They want to get out. This home is listed for sale. The home is not under contract. So my advice to my sellers, because their offers is contingent on that selling, I said, hey, we know we don't have any kind of upcoming showings. It would be different, right? My advice would be different if we had upcoming showings. Probably would have just said no, not at all. But being above asking, which was very nice. Home was on the market, which again, I like that. It's on the market, but it's not pending. And it's in a market that is not considered good right now. So we came up with a 14-day timeline for them to get it under contract with a little bit of non-refundable earnest money, which I think was plenty acceptable, right? If you want us to keep it off market, you need to, like that. While you have your home to sell, we want to make sure you're motivated versus just sitting there and killing time for everybody. And so we sent that back to them, said, hey, sure, we'll accept this, but you got 14 days to get your home pending or we can walk away. Very reasonable terms. And if I'm working with a buyer, that's about as good as we're going to get. But they countered back from that and said, no, we want 30 days. And I'm like, no, we're not sitting here and waiting 30 days for you to not get your home under contract and us to relist it 30 days. I mean, it's a whole month. It's just craziness to me. So yeah, don't know what that looks like. I kind of told them, hey, verbally, we're happy. Like, this deal works for us. The problem is if you do like a right of refusal, or if you accept it on our market, our MLS guidelines, and I don't like this guideline. I think if you have a first right of refusal, you should be able to keep the home active. Because people don't look at homes that are pending. That's just my opinion. I think it really hurts the seller in that. And it kind of demotivates the buyer because nobody's going to look at the home. So I don't really like the right of refusal in a lot of ways. Well, depending on which side I'm on and the situation, I may push for it. Especially if I'm on the buyer side, right? It makes a little more sense sometimes in a timeline, but, so 3 offers, 3 of them that are not under contract, and we didn't get any accepted. So, these are a lot that can happen, right? Just because you get an offer. Right now we're at like a 30+%. He actually said he watched my video and he wants to go ahead and get a home inspection on his home so we can provide that for the buyer. I think that's a huge win-win. The main thing is, the main thing there is, it will help you with a fall through. Fall throughs suck. Fall throughs waste time. It makes a lot of people question it. What's going on? What's wrong with it? So yeah, I just wanted to kind of share this video with you guys, a little insight to, be completely transparent on kind of the craziness that's what's going on, firsthand. As always, guys, questions, holler anytime.